everybody. I think we're live. I'm a couple of minutes early, but that's okay. Hey, Carolyn. Gonna give it a couple minutes and let some people come in. Hey, Jamie. Thank you. I am going to play the intro and give everybody a couple minutes to get in and we'll get started. And there we are. So we've had lots of questions about iron-on, and I thought that we would go live tonight and answer any questions that you guys might have and tips and tricks that we have learned along the way. Because the main thing is we generally want to follow all the rules of iron-on compatibility and that type of thing. But sometimes, even when we follow the directions, things don't turn out as they should. So, let me grab my shirts. I almost forgot to grab my shirts up. I got them. Oh, I just banged my knee on my desk. And I promise I am not going to say a dirty word. Ow, 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 ow. I hate when I do that. Right on the kneecap. So I have, let me get you guys some visual going here. There we go. I have already pre-cut my iron-on just to save us some time. And I left my tag and all my wrinkles on my shirt just so you guys could see. I do not pre-wash. Some do, some don't, but I don't. I am not a pre-washer. I am one of those that, see if I can get that clearer for you guys. There you go. I am one that, if it's for me, I don't mind pre-washing. If I'm selling it, I'm not going to pre-wash. I am going to even save this tag. I am going to press it, and then I am going to put that tag back on there on the bottom of the shirt going the opposite direction so they can see I removed it to iron on, but I didn't wash the shirt. Because, like I said, I am one of those that believes once you've washed it in your washing machine at home rather than at a laundry, it is a used item. So that's a age-old thing that's been up in the air that 50% will say, well, it's not really used, and 50% will say that it is. I don't know if there's a law or anything like that, but in my opinion, if I wash this in my washing machine at home and then I sell it to you, I have sold you a used shirt. So hopefully that answers that question. You guys can look it up. Like I said, it's the age-old question, and I had somebody message me about it. It's totally up to you, how you feel. You have to remember, just because you feel one way about it, your customer may feel another way. So I sell it as a new shirt. So make up your own mind on those types of things. That's something that we can't really decide for you. So what you're going to need for today's, if you're going to make this, I am using green glitter, and I've already weeded my silver, and it's stuck to my green. It got all rolled up. I've already weeded it just for time purposes, just so that, let me stick this over here so it doesn't go anywhere. I got a mat over there. If you're working with two colors, you might want to do that so that it doesn't go anywhere. But we had lots of questions on layering, how to layer it, how to get it on straight. So I wanted to come on and show you guys from design to ironing it on, including weeding, how you do that. So let's go over to Design Space. I'm just going to hide this window for now because you guys don't need it to see the shirt and all that stuff on my desk until we get ready to do that step. So over here in Design Space, I've just pulled in some elements. And we're just going to rework it. I've already cut mine. If you want it, let me know. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and pull that up and give you guys a number so you can go in and see what the finished thing is going to look like. And if you want to design it or use mine, that's totally up to you. Let's see. Let me get my pre-cut one and get you guys a number really quick. I thought I had that pulled up and I forgot to do it. Okay. That design number, let me see if I can paste it in there. It may chop it off. The design number is 211833617. I don't know if you can type it in anymore and get it to open in Design Space, but maybe you can click that link and get it open. If not, I will share it on the website right after the live, so you guys can get it. I'll put it in the description below too. But if you want to make your own, you're going to pull up just a few images here and we're going to work on those. So the first image that I got, and it was a free image, I just went in and I searched lips and it came up with hashtag M like Mary, F like Frank, 727550. And then I went into my images and I typed in Kiss Me, and I found the Kiss Me I'm Irish, and that is M like Mary, A like April, E like Edward, F like Frank, 2945. And then the shamrock that I am using, because I didn't like the shamrocks on the Kiss Me I'm Irish, I got hashtag M like Mary, the number 9, E like Edward, E like Edward, the number 9, F like Frank, 98. So those are the three images that we're going to be working with to do our design tonight. So pull those images in, and then we're going to do a little finagling and changing this up. We're going to combine these three Design Space images to come up with our own pattern, our own design. And I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit. I'm going to use that. I believe that I went to 11.5 wide, but we're going to resize that down, so it's totally up to you. But I did it this way just so that I could bring it in and you guys could see and we could work with it. So I'm going to make it kind of big, and then we'll shrink it down to whatever size you want it to be. The file that I gave you has the correct size. And you can change and turn this shamrock any direction you want, any way that you want. And we're just going to shrink it down. And if you notice, this is in the way. I really want to put it right there. And you can make it as big or as small as you like. But I want to slice that out. But these are going to distort it, those that are already cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go over to my contour button. And for those of you who haven't been using your contour or don't know what contour is, let me just shrink that back. There we go. It's going to remove cut lines, either your inside or your outside, and I'm about to show you a little bit of both. So right now I want to remove those inside cut lines. And I'm going to shrink this down just so you guys can see. These are the two that I want to get rid of. Okay, so I'm just going to click on that, and then I'm going to highlight the second one. You can see how it gets dark. I'm going to select that. Now if you come over here and look, those two lines are gone. And now I can put my shamrock in there and it's not going to interfere. And I don't want the tail to be up in here because that's going to cause problems later if it is. So give yourself a little bit of space. And then you're going to select these two items because when we slice, we can only slice 2 layers at a time. Only 2 layers. Okay? So if you look, if I've selected the shamrock and the lips over here in the layers panel, I only have the 2 layers selected. And that gives me the slice option. If I have more than 2 layers, you notice that it's grayed out. So anytime that you don't have your slice feature and you're trying to slice, look in that layers panel and check how many layers do you have selected. And as you look at this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 selected. So that's never going to work. Go back and grab just my 2 layers and slice. And it may look like it didn't do anything, but if you look in your layers panel now, you have slice results. And when we say get rid of the trash, what we mean is what it sliced. Here's my original image. Here's the trash that it sliced out. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And I'm going to save this in case I want it. I didn't use it, but you may want to use it. So save that in case you want to use it later. I am putting this on a white shirt, so I'm going to change that to green. But I don't want the white shirt to show through right here. I want to use some silver. Inside here, the white is fine for me. So how do I do that and get that to line up? I am going to duplicate that. And then I am going to align these. Oops, I just want to get the 2 layers. I'm going to align them center. And this top one I am going to change to gray because I want it to be silver when I'm done. So I'm going to go over and select that again, and I'm going to go back to my contour. And this time, instead of removing those inside cut lines, I'm going to take out the outside cut lines. So if I click on this or right here, either one, you can see that it just vanished the inside. And then I want to get this piece here. I can click on that, and I want to leave everything else. And I think I actually changed both of mine instead of just the one I did. There you go. Let me arrange and send that to the back. So here is my gray piece. Oops. There's my green, and then there is my gray. I want to undo that because you don't really want to move them. You want to leave them where they're at. That's going to become important here in just a moment because these are perfectly lined up to go into those inserts. It may help you guys to see if I make that a different color. But I know that I'm going to do it in silver. So let's make it orange so you guys can see it. So that's going to be, what you're seeing orange is actually going to be my silver layer. I just made it orange so you guys could see on camera just a little bit better. Maybe it'll pop out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select these 2 and I'm going to group it because I do not want to move either one of those layers and get them skewed. Because we're going to be adding some registration marks and doing some other things to this, and it's very important that those line up in the end. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to use just the Kiss Me I'm Irish. I don't want these shamrocks. And you can keep this piece. I'm not going to keep it, guys, because I didn't end up using it. If you decide you want to, you can always duplicate your orange layer, hide all the contours except the clover, and get your clover back. So tons of ways to do that. We're going to ungroup this, and you can see that the I'm Irish is just perfectly fine, and I can get rid of those, but I have these shamrocks are attached to Kiss Me. Again, we're going to go back and use our contour. So I see the 2 clovers here. I'm just going to click on them, and now they're gone. They're not there. I'm going to select it all. I think I'm going to actually just minimize a little bit so you guys can see here. It's hard for me to work on this. It gets up into the 0 up there. It bounces. So I know that I made this 11.5 inches wide. Myself, this is totally up to you. It's personal preference. I'm going to make that 11.5 inches wide as well. Well, I say I am. Going up to my size there. I'm making sure I keep it locked because I don't want to skew it. And I want to then get it pretty close here, but I'm going to select the two and align and center them horizontally. And you can see now when I do that and get it centered up, corner to corner, it all touches. So I'm just going to kind of rotate that just slightly, just a little bit. And let's make sure that they're still, and you see the size changed. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to resize this while it's grouped to my inside pieces, the orange, to 11.5. So now that is in there, and let's, oops, I don't know why my email decided to pop up in my face there. We're going to make sure we get this aligned and center it horizontally. We want to keep that. Now it's all still 11.5 wide. This is not touching, and it all looks really good. So right now I'm just going to group it. That's all just like I want it. I also want this, you may want to make this smaller and put some shamrocks down here at the bottom, but I wanted the lips to be the main part of this design. So what I'm going to do is make this again 11.5. And that's just to get everything cohesive. You can after you get it all done, you can size it to the size you want on your shirt. Okay? So don't worry about that until we get to the end. So now I'm going to bring this over, and with that all grouped, I am going to align it, and I'm going to center that horizontally. Now everything is all lined up, it's all the same width, and it looks good to me. Now if you don't like it that way, of course, go in and change it. Make it your own, guys. Set this up the way that you like it. And then I am going to ungroup this, and then I'm going to ungroup this. You want to make sure everything is ungrouped. So I have 4 things. I have the Kiss Me, the lips, the highlight of the lips, and then the I'm Irish. That's 4 different layers. I want to select the lips in the layers panel, and I'm going to hold my shift key down and select the Kiss Me. So I just have the 2 selected, and I'm going to weld. And I really don't like that color green, but it doesn't pop on the screen. Let's get something bright in there so that you guys can see it. There we go. So now I've got that all welded together. I'm just going to hide that. Then I'm going to select all of this, and I am going to weld. Now that's going to end up being my silver layer, and you can make it silver. I'm just going to leave it a dark color or a different color so it shows on camera for you guys. And now I'm going to unhide the lips. So now we're ready to cut. Or are we? Actually, I want to do some registration marks so that it makes it easier. Since I'm cutting anyway, I want some registration marks to help me line up my design on the shirt so that I get it straight. And we do this frequently with vinyl. Vinyl's easy, you just peel off the vinyl. But with iron-on, we have an extra couple of steps to do to make sure that the registration marks don't end up ironed on to our shirts. Okay? So that's something you have to pay attention to when you're doing registration marks with iron-on. Of course, you can heat it up from the back or use VLR and pick it off if you forget, but I'm going to show you a tip and trick that I do to keep it from ending up on the shirt. So I'm just going to get a shape, and you can get a star, whatever it is that works for you. I am just going to use some lines, and I'm going to unlock that and just need a little bit of a line. I don't need much, okay? I am going to take all of this that is grouped, well, should be grouped. I'm going to group it, and I'm just going to bump it down to about 11 inches. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to bump it down because I can resize it later. Then I'm going to bring this square that I unlocked and shrunk down just by unlocking it. Shrink it down just a little bit. You can make it as fat as you want it because this is dead space anyway, okay, in your design. And I'm just going to duplicate it like 4 times. Well, 3 times. And on one of those, I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. And I'm going to duplicate it. So now I have different ones. I am not worried about this orange layer. Doesn't matter because that's going to line up when I line up and do my layers. So I'm just going to hide it for now. Actually, I'm going to ungroup it and hide it. And I am going to select and bring this top line in and this bottom line, the ones that we rotated. I'm just going to bring them in a little bit close. They don't have to be, you don't want them too close. Just get them in there. And we're going to select both of them. I've got one selected. I'm holding my shift key and I'm going to select the other. I am going to align right, left, doesn't matter as long as you do one, right or left. And I am going to weld those together. Okay, I am then going to select those lines and my design, and I am going to align center horizontally and make sure it's not touching. It isn't. I got a little play where I can bring it down just a little. Just give me some space. Just going to double check and align center horizontally. They didn't move, and I'm going to weld it. And then I'm going to take these two. Just going to bring them in. Oops. Let me send that to the back. Hold the shift key and get both of those. Align top or bottom. Totally up to you, whichever way you want to do. And I am going to weld. And then I am going to align center vertically. And then there they are. They're in there and we're going to weld. Now, if your design has to be 11.5 wide, you're going to have to find a place to put your registration marks. Okay? To me, I'm okay if my design is not exactly 11.5 inches wide. I'm okay with that. I'm just going to come up here. If that's the size you want it, if you want it 9 inches, make it 9 inches, whatever it is that you want. And actually, I shouldn't have sized that yet. Just weld it. And then unhide. That still fits in there. Now, if you want to group it, and if you want to make it 11.5 inches wide, make it 11.5 inches wide. But make sure you group them and do everything together. Okay? So now we have everything sized and it's ready to go, and I'm just going to save this in case you guys want to use it later. And I'm not worried about the second layer. We don't need any registration marks on that because it's going to fit in and piece in to this. So then at that point, you're just going to send it over and you're going to make it. Okay? So that is ready to go. You've got your 2 layers and they're going to cut out just like that. So let's go over to the camera and weed it and show you guys how to cut and weed your iron-on. I'm using a Teflon sheet, guys. There is a link below for Teflon sheets. You can see that. You can use your protective sheet from Cricut. You just want to make sure that your entire design is covered, okay? And I really don't have much left because my registration marks, I did this at 11.5. I am using Cricut glitter, the Strong Bond iron-ons. One of these, this green is out of the Jules sampler. It might be washing out. You guys may not be able to see that on that white. But that's the Jules sampler, this green is. And then I use silver Cricut. Okay? And just to help me weed, I am going to leave this on my mat. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be exact. It just helps me when I'm weeding. to peel it. When you cut your iron on, this shiny side, the pretty side that you see, has a plastic carrier. That plastic carrier looks like this. Make sure you mirror. You can see that it's backwards, but if I flip it around when I go to iron it on, it's going to be correct. So you mirror it, and then you cut it. And you cut it with the shiny side stuck to the mat. The dull side is going to be the side that you want to leave up. And now we're just going to weed it. I'm just going to start at a corner. Guys, if you have just a little bitty small design, let me pop back over to Design Space just to show you that, because I forgot that, and I always forget to tell people to do that. Let's just say you were cutting just that clover. We're just going to pretend that this is a clover right here, this circle. You can put what we call a weeding box around that. Arrange, I'm going to send that to the back. You can put a weeding box around it to help save yourself some of your material. So what you're going to do is you're just going to either attach, oops, let me get that out of the way. You're just going to select the two and you can attach it. And if you attach it, it's going to turn gray because gray was the color on the bottom. Whatever color is on the bottom of the two pieces you select, that's the color it's going to change, okay? But you can make them both green, or you can just weed it like I'm weeding today. You don't need a weeding box, but that's what we call this, as a weeding box. And I'm just going to select the two of them and attach. So now when it cuts, it's going to cut my design, my clover out, and then it's going to cut a square around it.
Kristen McBrayer.
Excuse
Kristen
me.
McBrayer.
I apologize. I thought I silenced my phone. So it's going to be easier for you to weed, and you're not going to lose a ton of material because you can just cut it. You're still going to have to cut your carrier, but you cut your carrier around this square and it's going to save you some material. I hope that that makes sense. So then I've got my carrier stuck down, and I'm just going to slowly start peeling this and weeding it. And did I pull my registration on? My registration mark right there didn't want to stay stuck. So you're going to have to be careful. Glitter can be tricky to weed because the material can tear on you. Like that, it can tear. So you just want to weed glitter very, very, very slowly and just bring it around. And I'm just kind of weeding everything to the center. And I'm just giving it a wiggle through those letters and letting it pop itself loose. And if you come in here, you can pull this out. And what are these called? Sue and Louise. We had a discussion about this last week. We were talking about typography. The inside of the letters are called counters. So we're just going to look at your weeding lines. If you have a bright pad, those help with this. Glitter is very porous, so the lights try to shine through on glitter no matter what you do. Glitter can be difficult to work with, but it can be fun and it's pretty. It just takes a little bit of practice. Trying to give me a hard time right there. There we go. And your carrier is what they call pressure sensitive, which means sticky. So if you pull up a part of your design by accident, you can stick it back down, okay? So just make sure that you get it so that you can stick it back down. Make sure that because you're working with pressure sensitive, when you're working with your iron-on, make sure that you are not letting your weeded pieces fall back onto your carrier, because if they fall back onto your carrier, they're going to end up on your design, and you don't want that. And I almost weeded the wrong piece there. I'm trying to keep this on camera so you guys can see, but it's very difficult for me to see my cut line. I have to get that up there where I get that mark to show. Just letting the light hit it so I can see where my cut line is. It also helps sometimes to roll. Just roll it backwards, and then you can get some of those cut lines to pop up for you too when you're working with glitter. Does anybody else have any tips and tricks they want to share on working with glitter iron-on? I think I got all of them out of the letters, so now we're going to work on the lip portion. Hey Andrea, I'm going to try to save this shamrock when I take it out of here, because I can put that on a shoe or a hat. If I can, glitter, like I said, can be funny. I don't want it to tear on me. If I weren't going to put it, didn't have plans for it, I would just rip it right out of there. There we go. Yay! So now I have a shamrock that I can iron on as well. And let's see, we have an area right here. When you're weeding too, guys, make sure that you double and triple check that you don't leave any pieces behind that are supposed to come out. Be patient with vinyl. Yes, you have to be patient. Let's see. Maybe, I hope this doesn't wash out for you guys. That will help me if I have my hot light. If it washes out, I'm sorry. I'm just weeding. I'm just trying to do this as quickly as possible for you guys on the weeding part. Let's see. There's one. Really, really, really hard to see on glitter. And I want to give a shout out and say thank you to my Patreons and my Ko-fi supporters and my YouTube channel memberships. Greatly appreciate you guys supporting the channel, supporting the groups. Thank you to everyone who shops our links in the groups. Greatly appreciated. And of course, your moderators. Does anybody have any design space questions while we're weeding? Anything that the mods can answer for you? I like my bright pad too. I like it for vinyl. I usually don't have any issue with doing my iron-on. I always have issue with glitter. just because it's so shiny I can't see it. This green is much easier than the white. I think the white for me is the hardest one to weed. A couple more pieces, all I have left. Let's see. It tore. There we go. Tore the piece I was trying to remove. Okay, I've got one here. I think I got one here. No, two there. Okay, that's that part of it. Now we have a couple more down here and we're done. Let me look at my, that looks weird. Okay. I thought I was tearing it, but I'm not. That's that weird piece. There we go. It helps if you have your, if you can see on your screen and you have that up when you're looking at it too. I think that's all of it. No, yep, got that one, got that one, got that one, got that one, and that's it. Got those two. I'm just looking at my screen and comparing to make sure that I didn't leave any pieces, and I didn't. So there I have that. Now, when I was doing my silver, this piece came out. So I am going to come in here and I am going to go ahead and tuck that in. Now you can do this with all the pieces if you want, but you don't need to. But I'm just going to tuck that piece in because I know it came loose and there was no way I was getting it back in the exact spot that it was. Oops. Me. This was supposed to go to the back and it didn't go. There we go. There we go. So I just tucked this piece in. This piece came loose when I was weeding my silver and it stuck to the negative part that I was taking out, and I retrieved it, but there's no way that I could stick that right back in the exact spot it was supposed to go on the silver carrier. So I'm just going to go ahead and set it in there so that when I iron this piece on, it's ready to go. All right, and it's in its position. Kind of inlay. Make sure I get it in good. And you can do all your small pieces that way if you want. I'm just not going to take the time to do all that. It's not really necessary because I can iron it on. I've got to iron on the Irish anyway. So, but if you lose any pieces while you're weeding this, I love sticky carriers, not. But you can just stick it back in there. So I'm just going to set that to the side, and then I'm going to peel this off of my mat. Get that mat out of the way before everything sticks to it again. I'm just going to place that up on my machine really quick so it doesn't get out of the way. I mean, doesn't get in the way. Keep it out of the way. So I have my shirt, and I'm just going to peel off my label. I'm going to turn on my Cricut Easy Press. I am using the large Easy Press today. My 9x9 is on loan and I don't have it, so you guys bear with me using the big one. So to get my registration where I want on the shirt, I am going to fold right up here at the collar and the top of the shoulders and get those absolutely even. And I'm just gonna make sure that it's even under the armpits right here. And I'm just going to place it flat. Okay, let me grab my mat. I forgot to get my mat out. So, just going to place that up under there. Stray piece of. And I like to go about 3 inches from the collar on mine. So I'm just going to pull my mat down to give myself about 3 inches. Because I only need to press and do this where it's going to go. Did you get it, Toya? I was talking about a stray piece of vinyl. So I'm just going to press that down while this heats up. Just going to give it a few seconds to press. And then we're going to go over. Let that heat up a little bit more. Let's go over and check out getting our, give me a new window, our Easy Press guide and get our times and temps. And if you guys need the link to the Easy Press guide, just let us know. I may need the link myself. Let's see. And I am just going to Cricut Help. Okay. And let's see if it pulls up under Interactive Guide. I forget how it pulls up. I have it saved. Let's see. There's my link. I'm just going to give you guys the link. Here's the link to the Easy Press guide. It may or may not let you click on it. And I am using the Easy Press 2, so I'm going to select that and scroll down, and the material that I'm using is glitter. So I don't want to select Everyday Iron-On. I want to go down here and select glitter. And then you're going to select your base material. And this Gildan shirt is 100% cotton, so I am just going to select 100% cotton. And that I am using my Easy Press mat, or if you're using a towel, and you're going to apply. And it's saying 330 degrees for 30 seconds. So I am going to set the temp. See if you guys can see that. I'm going to set the temp to 330. And I'm going to set the time, oops, to 30 seconds. Oh, I'm going down. Ta! So now we have a temp of 330. We have our time set at 30 seconds, and you can see that it's got a red light, or maybe it's got the red light. We're going to wait on the green light and wait on it to beep. While it's doing that, I am going to give that another little press. That's all you need, just a guide where we held that up. And then if you want it to be at a certain position, you can do a horizontal line under some paper. I fold under the arms. I know that that's hard for you guys to see on camera, but I'm just folding up under the arms. I've got that and I folded it in half, and I'm just going to press the lower half. Just a little crease mark right there on the lower half. I didn't go all the way up because I want that to be my crosshair. Let me get that out of the way. Let's get this gone. There we go. So now I have my crosshairs on my shirt, okay? So I know where everything is going to land. And I'm going to start with my largest piece, and you're just going to line up on your crosshairs, okay? And that's where it's going to go on your shirt to get it on there straight. And of course this one is going a little sideways because that's the way we designed it, but you're just going to make sure that you've got it lined up. Now we don't want these to transfer, so how do you stop that? You've got your carrier already here. I'm just going to slice off a corner. I'm going to place it. Make sure that you don't get it on your design. I'm going to place it right over. Okay. Making sure that you cover your registration mark, but you do not get that carrier on your design, because if you get it on your design is not going to transfer there. So you have to be very mindful of that. It's okay if it sticks out on the side, it's not going to hurt anything. But you got plenty of extra carrier to cover these. Okay. So now we've got that handled. I do 3 inches down from the top. And then we're just going to make sure it's all lined up. I got one little, there we go. And now we've got that on and we know it's going to be straight. Okay. So, I mean, this is just super easy and super simple because your registration marks, you saw how quickly those went on. It didn't take very long at all to get those on to the design and weld them on. It didn't take but just an extra second to put our little pieces of carrier over it. And if you have, you know you're going to do this, you can cut carrier, pieces of carrier. As a matter of fact, Brilliant Vinyl, there's a link down below. They sell Easy Mask. Easy Mask is by Caesar, and it is a carrier sheet. It's carrier sheet. So you can, if you have that, you can just cut pieces. Now we're layering, so even though Cricut says to do this for 30 seconds, I'm not going to do this for 30 seconds, guys. I'm going to do it for maybe 3 to 5 seconds if you're using Caesar. I'm going to do this for about 5 to 8 seconds with Cricut. And I'm just going to press and start my timer. And hopefully that's enough time, because I basically just want this layer to stick. And if it's not sticking, don't worry, you can go back and you can heat again. And you can see that my registration marks are not on the shirt, they're still on the carrier. Okay? And you can save your carrier and use that. You don't have to buy any from Brilliant. Okay, so I just wanted to make that stuck on there so that I can then come in with my second layer. And we're going to line this up. And you're probably, because the size of this, press in 2 different sections. Now we're just going to line this up inside and press that down. Okay, Now I'm going to protect the entire design because you don't want to get this up here messed up by pressing on it. So we're just going to cover the whole design, and now we're going to press this lower half, and then we're going to press the top half again for the full amount of time. This is where you go the full amount of time. That way you don't have shrinkage and it fits in there. Yes, glitter is cold peel. However, when I'm doing layers, I warm peel it very slowly, like you saw me do. I do it very slowly because you just want it, you're tacking that layer. That's all you're doing is tacking it. You're not wanting it to be adhered permanently because we're doing that in this step. So now I'm just going to slide it down and get that back on my mat, and I'm going to do this top half. A piece of glitter in the middle. No, Ivy, that was a piece of paper. On that carrier, the silver carrier, my paper stuck to it. But that was a good eye. Good eye. Unless something got on there I didn't see. That's paper. Where it ripped it off of here. It was stuck to the carrier. So we're going to let that cool. This is already pressed up here. And there you have it, guys. And you can see, let me see, there's no shrinkage. Mine is edge to edge cover. There's no shrinkage. It fit in there perfectly. You just have to make sure that you don't overheat that first layer. But that was a good eye. I had laid it down over there and my paper stuck, and then when I pulled it off, it did that. So does anybody have any questions about layering? I know that tons of people were asking tons and tons and tons. Isn't it pretty? Oops, that is not stuck. That was stuck to my finger. But you shouldn't have any problem with it coming off or anything like that. You don't have to overheat. A lot of people are saying heat it until you see the fibers of your shirt. If you do that, 90% of the time, it's overheated, okay? You have to be very careful of that. You don't want to overheat your iron-on. I even emailed Caesar about that, and they did a video. You don't always want to see the fibers. There are occasions where you will see your easy weed or your everyday Cricut iron-on. You will see the fibers of, say, like a onesie under it. But for the most part, you're not going to see them. And especially with glitter, you don't want to see them. If you see fibers under your glitter, then you've really, really, really overheated it. Paula, it just takes time and practice. I've done so many with the insect colors that it's just easy for me. And you saw that I had this piece that came loose. It's in there just like it was supposed to be. I just put it in. You're not going to have problems, Jamie, I promise. If you do, practice. Practice on something small, okay? Practice on scrap fabric with scrap pieces of iron-on. Cut a circle or a square out of it and practice layering them. Cut letters out of them. You know, your small pieces that you have. Cut letters out of them and put them on scrap fabric. An old pillowcase. That's what I practiced on. I had an old pillowcase that had a rip in it. And I used that pillowcase to practice my iron-on and my insets. I would take all of my scraps from other pieces and I would cut the letter A out, or I would cut a star out of it, and I would practice doing my layering to see if I could get them to line up. That way you don't ruin your shirts. Just takes time. And you have to pre-press your shirts. I forgot to say that. You have to pre-press your shirts anyway before you put your iron on it. So when you're folding it in half and doing that press, you're really not taking an extra step. You're just pre-pressing and putting your lines on there. So you guys make your St. Patty's Day designs and get them out there. We have 4 days. I am going to put up a post for your St. Patty's Day shirts, and I am going to be giving away a mint cricket cutie to someone who posts up their design. Hopefully it has a, and I will do the cutie, let's see, the 17th. I'll do the cutoff on the 17th, which is Tuesday. Wednesday, I will pull a winner. I will pick a winner on the 18th to get a mint cricket cutie. Okay? You cut everything separate, and you can do that, Ivy. You can cut around your design because you're only talking about a 1/2 inch. You can do a star instead of a line. I would not do a circle because circles can be deceiving because there's no sharp edges or anything to line up. A circle will line up in any direction. So use a diamond, use a star, something small, because there are areas of your iron-on, your design, that you're not going to be able to save. You can trim your iron-on as close to it as possible, but you're still going to have a little bit of waste in your designs. So yeah, on let's see, do I go live on the 18th? Today is the 11th. I'm sorry. I said I would do the giveaway on the 18th. I will do the cutoff on the 17th, and I will draw the winner on the 20th because I don't go live on the 18th. I don't know what I was thinking. Let me double check my calendar for you guys just so we can get that clear. Let's see. Oh, that's not it. Where's my calendar? I can't find my calendar. All right. I'll have to look in the group and find it in announcements. But I believe the 20th. So I will do the drawing. That'll give me a couple of days to look at all the entries and pick a winner. And I will announce the winner of the mint cutie on the 20th. But I will do the cutoff to enter on the 17th. I'll turn off the post. It will be an announcement. So make sure you go to the announcements and post your shirt there. Also post it in the group for everybody to see, but you have to post it on my giveaway. Okay, so on the cutie, make sure that you use Design Space Images. To win the cutie, you have to use Design Space Images and create a design, hopefully with something with an inset. Use your registration marks or however you want to do it, and post up your shirt. That's it. You just have to use Design Space Images. No uploads. Has to be Design Space Images. I want you guys to practice layering. Layering, slicing, and contouring. But that green and silver. So come to the announcements. Post your St. Patty's Day shirt using Cricut Design Space images, preferably 2-color, so that we can see how you practiced your layering. And you have to post your photo in the giveaway announcement. I have not posted it yet, but I will post it as soon as I leave here, and it will be in announcements. Does anybody have any other questions? Design Space or anything you need me to show you? Anything we need to cover again? See right here, Ivy? Even if you put a weeding box around your design to save material, you still have some waste areas where you can put those registration marks. You have a little bit here at the top, bottom, and each side. Yeah. Create your own image from Design Space Images. Layer, contour or slice, either one, whichever works. Contouring is not a must. But create your own design from at least 2 Design Space. All right. Thank you, Ko-fi supporters. Thank you, Patreons. Thank you, YouTube members. And a great big huge shout out to my moderators. You guys are awesome. I will catch you on Monday. Monday we are going to be doing, if I get my file finished and everything fits, we're going to be doing a gift bag. You don't have a heat press yet, Paula? You can use an iron. Same thing, you just want to heat it enough to stick and then heat the full time. Make sure you press on a hard surface like a desk or a countertop and not on an ironing board. Your iron-on won't stick if you do. Fails, guys. So if you're having any iron-on fails, make sure you refer to that guide. Make sure that you're doing everything according to all of our tips and tricks that we've learned over the years. And you see right here, we did not layer on top of glitter. I could not put this silver on top of green. That's why we did the inset like we did, because it won't stick. It won't stay if you do. It may appear that it's stuck and it may look good, but it will eventually begin to peel. So that's why we did the slicing and inlaid it like we did. All right, you guys have a wonderful night.